I'm talking about the greatest. Hold up. Never with that fakeish. Roll up. Realest of the real when he was young. Muhammad Ali was still the same when he growed up. Louisville strong, well, we all knew he the chosen one. He knocked out List and he shocked the world and left it frozen, huh? Exposing the hatred America had for us. Ain't no justice, it was just us. 19 Southern Intifada, rumble in the jungle. The thriller Manila left you humble. After Ali beat Foreman, he made a phone call to a DC brother named Harold Belly. Didn't call ABC, NBC. He didn't call Ed Bradley, didn't call Howard Cosell. He floated like a butterfly, stung like a bee. Ali made me proud to be me. He called Harold Bell in DC. Ali, a global cultural icon. His rope a dope like a time bomb. Rumble, young man, rumble. Beautiful young man, try fun. Rumble, young man, rumble. Beautiful young man, never tumble. Home at Ali, Harold Bell. Just got here on Kendrick Lamar. Now we're talking about Harold Bell. Harold Bell. Just got here on. Now we're talking about Harold Bell. Harold Bell. Just got here on. Now we're talking about Harold Bell. Harold Bell. Now we're talking about Harold Bell. Real godfather of sports talk. A man that talk and walk that walk. A media community pioneer. Shared the same radio mic as Peter Green over the air. His voice came through loud and clear. When the streets of the original Chocolate City were mean, they did not have to scream. Unlike today's radio host, the first black American to host and produce his own sports talk radio show in DC. Oh yeah. His brother was Bad G. The show was christened Inside Sports. The tag given to him by his wife Hattie T, stolen by the powers to be. His interviews and friendship with Ali and Red Auerbach put his Inside Sports talk show on the map. On his radio show, he interviewed some of the most famous athletes, reverend and reviewed the people and the struggle. His wife Hattie T founded Kids in Trouble, incorporated in the Hillcrest Saturday program in 1968. Shortly after the DC riots, this idea was great and still is to this day.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
What's happening? How you doing today, Harold?
Everything's great. So far, so good.
Nice, awesome. Well, we wanted to go ahead and welcome everybody to the second chapter of the original Inside Sports with the legendary Harold Bell. This is a show that builds on legacy, and this guy right here has done so much for the community, and we just continuing to give him his flowers while he's here, while he's still continuing to bring us great stories, great history, and preserving our Black voice. When it comes to, sports, the history of sports, the legacy of sports, in Washington, D.C., Harold Bell is the pioneer of sports talk radio. Across the globe, his format is used and is translated into different areas of the world to this very day. So it is my pleasure to be here with the legendary Harold Bell. Thank you, Harold Bell. How you doing?
Sounds good. What we got up today, Shannon? What we got going today?
All right. So today we have the DMV sports, and this is very important on what's going on in the DMV right now. We have our youth sports and mentoring, the youth section, and then we have a great book reviewing guest that you'll be bringing on. We do have my guest, Mr. Theophilus Brooks. We did a sound check. He is not back yet, but hopefully he'll join us as well. And that is someone you are very well acquainted with as well. So we wanted to first start off with giving our presenting sponsor some recognition. So right now, you see on the scene Kids in Trouble. Kids in Trouble. This show is presented by them. For decades, Kids in Trouble has stood in the gap for young people, families, and communities that needed real support, real guidance, and real action. This has been a program serving the community, and today they are presenting Inside Sports Legacy Network. Harold Bell, how did Kids in Trouble start, and what impact has it made over the years?
Well, I think number one, we need to bring my guests on now, since Theophilus isn't here. Serving youth, that's what he has been about all of his life. And I think we need to introduce him, and then I can kind of go into Kids in Trouble, and then you guys can follow up on that. I would like to bring in none other than a young man that grew up in Northeast Washington. He, a product of the DC public school system, graduated from Calvin Coolidge. He's a native Washingtonian, so he knows what the real deal is. And it's a funny thing about this. I just happened to run upon him because I sat on my telephone, and all of a sudden his name pops up. I haven't talked to him in years, man. I mean years. And come to find out that he has a book, a memoir out, and we got to talking, man. And he sent me the book, man. I could not believe how 75 pages and how profound and provocative this book was. That took me back to my youth, and it's really about his youth because I'm about a decade older than he is. So I would like to welcome my guest to join Shannon and I, Dr. Darnell Bethel. Doc, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you see me? My camera.
We can't see you. We can hear you.
What do I need to do to get the camera squared away?
Shannon.
It's got a line through it.
Shannon. Shannon is the tech guy.
Yeah, I see you, but my camera has a line through it. I see my name. So what do I need to do?
You need to turn your camera on. There's a there should be a button on the screen where you can select. It looks like a camera, and you can tap that.
Okay. What I see is on the screen, I see a camera. Oh yeah, I got you. Okay, I just hit it, and it has a line through it.
Okay. Well, Doc, let's go ahead and talk into it because wasn't quite sure we will bring you on. So Shannon wasn't able to do a camera check earlier, so that's probably. But we can hear you clearly. So let's follow our lead as we go through this part of the show, and maybe we'll be able to get you on camera shortly. But let me, Shannon, you were asking about how the Kids in Trouble get started. Let me take it from there, and then you and Doc can come on and elaborate. Kids in Trouble started in 1968. And how did it come about? Because of the 1968 rise, I was working as a roving leader for the DC Department of Recreation. And I was all over the city, but mainly I was in the U Street corridor, which was called Black Broadway at the time. And I remember exactly where I was when, everything went to hell. Willie Wood and I was staying on the corner. Willie Wood, a former Green Bay Packer, great Hall of Famer, great, was working with the DC Recreation Department after the season was over. And that came about because Willie Wood and those athletes back that time, they weren't making the big money that these guys are making today. So they had to find a second job. So Willie was either teaching school or working with the DC Recreation Department. And that year, he was working with the DC Recreation Department, and we were hanging out, like I said, at 9th and U Street Northwest at a restaurant of the In Crowd. It was a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, man, on April 4th. And we left the restaurant and just went out and hung on the corner and watching people ride by. And suddenly this guy named Harvey Cooper came by in the car and hung out the window and said, Harold, they just shot Dr. King in Memphis, Tennessee. And so Willie Wood looked at me. I looked at him. I said, what did he say? He said, they shot Dr. King. And about that time, people started coming out of the restaurant where we had just been having lunch. And women were crying and all this. So Willie Wood said, man, we're in trouble. We will have a problem. And I agreed with him. And we started to walk down the U Street quarter toward Ben's Chili Bowl. And our friend, the one and only Luke C. Moore, who was in charge of U.S. Marshals at the time, the modern day U.S. Marshal was in charge. He took over from Frederick Douglass, the legendary Frederick Douglass, and became the U.S. Marshal in charge in Washington, D.C. And Luke was a guy about town, so we all were familiar with each other. So we walked arm in arm down to Ben's Chili Bowl, and there Ben and his guy named John Snipes and some other businessmen were standing out in front of the restaurant. And of course, you know, all hell broke loose. And I was called down to the 5th District headquarters with my friend, the only guy who had any rank. Tillman O'Brien was the assistant chief at the time. He was only black in charge. And he called me down. They called the office and said, tell Harold Bell to come down to the precinct. Had no idea why he wanted to be at the precinct. But went down there and the sergeant, a lady, said the chief is waiting for you downstairs. I went downstairs, man, there were all these cops, man, in riot gear, rifles and masks and everything. And the chief was talking to them, and he saw me come in. He said, Harold, come over here. So I went over there. Next thing I know, man, he was swearing me in as a DC police officer and gave me a badge. I said, Chief, where's the gun? He said, boy, I can't give you no gun. He said, go on out there, you'll be all right. Everybody know you. I said, Chief, I'm not worried about the looters. I'm worried about one of these scared white cops who shoot me as one of the looters. But anyway, I went out there for 3 days. I was out there 3 days and nights. And that police badge allowed me to go through the barricades where they were set up. We had military barricades, they had police barricades, and I was able to show my badge wherever I wanted to go in the city. And man, those were 3 difficult days and nights, man, that, you know, my life was on the line. And after, you know, the riots were over and we were trying to recover, my wife, who was teaching at Cardozo at the time, was my fiance at Cardozo. We got married in Orangeburg, South Carolina in November, and we came home December, found Kids in Trouble. And that's when Kids in Trouble first came to be. We had our first Christmas toy party at Hillcrest Children's Center, which was old Turner's Arena. I don't know, you're too young, Shannon, to know about Turner's Arena. And I think Donnell is aware of Turner's Arena because his father used to work on the U Street corridor, all Black Broadway. So my first Christmas toy party was held at the Hillcrest Children's Center. And my first Santa Claus was my teammate, a guy by the name of George Kelly. Played football at Howell University and played minor league football with me with the Virginia Sailors. I asked him to play Santa Claus for the kids, man. And so that is how the first Christmas toy party came about, and Kids in Trouble was found in November, right after Hattie and I got married, and we had our first Christmas toy party in December 1968. So I hope that gives you a little background, and maybe Donnell, maybe you can come in and tell us about your dad, working at what was the name of that hotel, Donnell?
The Dunbar Hotel.
Dunbar Hotel.
The Dunbar Hotel, he he worked his way through Howard University, man, working at the old Dunbar Hotel.
Mhm.
And we were very familiar with U Street because he was also part-time manager. And remember the Duck Pen Bowling Alley?
You're right.
At the
Mhm.
Duck Pen Bowling Alley, man. He would take my brother and I there when we were little. And, so we were very familiar with that area. And then during, you talking about 68, in 68, I was working at 12th and S at Garrison Playground.
Is that right? Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man. Oh man, great
Man,
basketball there.
oh
Great
man, I
basketball.
tell you what, that's right in the heart of everything.
Mhm.
And so I was actually there from 67 to 71. So
Wow.
I saw a lot in that area. Talking about basketball, man. John Thompson came down and recruited his first St. Anthony's high school basketball team from half the guys that played at Garrison. Jonathan
Wow.
Smith, Alonzo, Cheese Holloway, all those guys, man, he got from Garrison Playground. But before I say anything else, Harold, I got to say this, man. You've been an inspiration to a lot of people, but particularly my generation, because I'm 70. I'll be 77 in December. So we were young bucks when
I know it.
you were up and down the U Street area as a roving leader, Harrison, Garrison. I mean, everybody knew Harold, but we go back even a step further because
That's right.
I grew up with the Bells. I lived in Mayfair, and there was another whole community, Parkside,
That's right.
and the two communities were separated by Hayes Street.
Mhm.
But everybody met at Neville Thomas Elementary School, and we all knew one another. And I had a good friend named William Puddin Bell,
That's right.
and
My young brother.
Puddin was a good man. We loved Puddin, man. We see my Dale and I were more Parkside than we were Mayfair.
Yeah.
Okay, some of the
You
cats,
brought back memories,
yeah,
Donnell, because I had forgotten that Puddin was a catcher. I had forgotten that Puddin was a catcher till you brought it to my attention.
and Puddin was the catcher for. We all played 12 and under, and we started at Parkside Rec with Gaylord, Big Gay,
Yeah,
and then my
Ice
uncle,
Saver.
yeah,
Ice Saver.
and then my uncle Freddie recruited my brother and I over to Deanwood.
Right.
So, but that was good for me because I was a catcher at Deanwood and I couldn't be putting out at Parkside, so I'd have been playing some other position.
Right.
So anyway, but back to Harold. I mean, you talk about a solid rock of a person as far as integrity, as far as professionalism, and being able to communicate with people. When you out in the hood in the street, man, you can't come up with some BS or come up like you better than, or you trying to tell them how to live their life. You got to be able to let them know, what I call, and I wrote about it in my book a little bit, what I call ethos, pathos, and logos. I mean, they have to understand that you know what you're talking about. They have to feel that you are compassionate to their situation, you know, and then you've got to be able to communicate that forward to them. And Harold has always been able to do that, and has always been that smile, man. And
Yeah.
you
Well,
see him. I mean,
I thank you, Donnell, for those flowers. But I don't want to bring Shannon back in here because
yeah,
Shannon needs to know that also another unique position that you hold, that you are one of triplets, that
yeah,
your mom and dad had triplets. That there was
Wow.
Daryl and
yeah,
Darylyn and Donnell. Am I
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yes, Dale,
Triplet.
Daryl, and Darnell, two boys and a girl. Our sister has passed. She was fraternal. My brother and I identical. But we were born,
Wow.
and Harold, thanks, because I mentioned that in the book. We were born at Freedman's Hospital
Mhm.
on the campus of Howard University. And my mother had at the time one of the very few black obstetrician gynecologists women,
Wow.
and that was amazing. But yeah, man, we're DC bred, born and through and through. Like Harold, I married a good DC girl from Northeast. She lived right behind old Woodson Junior High on 42nd
Right.
Street.
Right.
And Harold, you may have known her sisters. They were in rec, Minerva and Carolyn.
Wow.
Minerva Dawson and Carolyn Jackson.
Yeah.
They
Hey,
were in rec for years. Yeah.
Shannon. Also, that I found out late that this brother here was an all-around athlete at the Calvin Coolidge High School. He was not
Wow.
only academically endowed, but he was a great athlete, man. And by me being 10 years old, 12 years older, I kind of missed that because I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
I was at another level at that
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
not realizing what Donnell was accomplished. Come on in, Shannon, and join this conversation. Shannon, are you there? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, to join the conversation, man, because let me give you a little more background on Donnell Watt before you come in, man. Donnell, not only an educator, but he's a professor, and he was a U.S. Army vet. He is a lifelong advocate for learning. He has inspired generations of students, Shannon, through his leadership and commitment to excellence. He is a proud native Washingtonian, as I mentioned, and a product of the DC public school system, graduating from Coolidge. He has excelled as an all-around athlete. He was professor at St. Augustine College in Raleigh, North Carolina, for almost 3 decades before he retired. He now lives in Wendell Falls, North Carolina, where he has continued to write and encourage others through his word and example. So this is the kind of individual that you can talk to and ask anything from where you sit as a young man, Big Doc. So take it over.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was looking at what you had done. How did you get to the point of saying, "Hey, I need to put this memoir out"? And what's the significance of having, the title of the book named that way, and you put that quote there? Can you tell me about that?
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's a great question. I appreciate it. Uh, to start my dialogue on that, my wife of 55, almost 56 years, has been encouraging me over the years. Man, I've done so many things. She said, "No one's going to be around to tell your grandchildren all the stuff you did and get it right." She said, "You really ought to think about putting something in writing." And man, I hemmed and hawed for years. And finally, I turned 76 my last birthday. And I got to thinking about my father because he was 76 when he passed away. And just suddenly, boom, he had diabetes and high blood pressure and didn't do what he's supposed to do. But anyway, he went out. No dialogue, didn't get to see him, didn't go to the hospital to visit him, nothing. He just boom, he was gone. And so I got to thinking all about him and all the things. He was a tough man. But I wanted to remember something that he left me that was enduring, that has carried me through my entire lifetime. And so I got to thinking about the time that uh, my brother and I, man, baseball was king, man, in the summertime in DC area. All the kids had gloves except my brother and I. So we talked Pop into getting us some gloves. So he got gloves, and it's all in the book. I'm not going to try to tell the whole thing, but the bottom line was my brother got a regular glove, man. Like that's the kind I wanted, man. You could do anything with it. He gives me my glove. It's in a box, and it's a catcher's mitt. And I'm like, what the? I mean, I was trying to be cool about it, but I said, man, why did my father give me a catcher's mitt? So I I pondered it for quite a while, man. I didn't pick up that mitt for almost a year. But in the meantime, in the between time, something had happened to me that put me in the hospital for about 6 months when I was in the fourth grade. Man, I had osteomyelitis, and I couldn't walk, couldn't bend my leg, couldn't do anything. And this is the 1950s, man.
Wow.
Antibiotics and all that was. So I was in Children's Hospital for about 6 months. I didn't think I was ever going to walk again.
Wow.
But my father, because he worked downtown, he could take a bus, get off, used to be off U Street, 13, something like that.
13th and
Anyway,
W.
13th and W. And so he could get off the bus and then still go because we were living in Mayfair then and see me every day. So he would come and sometimes we wouldn't say anything, but he could see me in pain. And man, they had these big gargantuan needles at the time. I'm getting constant intravenous feeding, can't get out the bed, so sponge baths and all that crazy stuff, man.
Wow.
Anyway, and I was on a hospital ward with a lot of very, very, very sick kids, and some of them didn't make it. I knew a lot of them that didn't make it. But anyway, so he would spend time with me and all of that, and I remembered, so I started connecting the catcher's mitt to that particular part of my life, and also that my father's favorite player, this is Black history here, was Elston Howard, who was the first African American signed by the New York Yankees, number 32, Ellie Howard. And man, we didn't miss a game when they came to Old Griffith Stadium to play the Senators. And we get there early, and my brother and I would go down and close and watch the batting practice and all that. But and then I did a little research on Elston Howard. I got his wife co-authored a book about him, which I've had and I've read, and just what a historic figure he was. He was he was a Harold Bell of baseball.
Wow.
He was a trailblazer. He was a man who had to endure with dignity. And there's a famous story, and I sent it to Harold about they
Hey,
were on the
Donnell,
way.
hold on right there,
Sure,
Donnell.
sure.
I want bring Shannon kind of up to date now. When you say about Eston Howard, a year before, Jackie Robinson had just knocked down the doors to come into Major League Baseball with the Brooklyn Dodgers. So now we're talking about a year later, 1948, when Eston Howard is signed by the New York Yankees. Now the Yankees had to be very careful. They had to bring somebody that was, going kind of go along to get along because segregation and racism was all around them. So they had to be very careful about the young man that they were going to bring in, especially a Black young man. And here is Donnell and his brother going to the New York Yankees games, man. And then he sees out on the field not only Mickey Mantle, but he sees Eston Howard, the first Black man to play for the New York Yankees. Okay, Donnell, pick it up from there.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we would go see Elston Howard, and I'm gonna try to connect it back to the book. So my perception is, as I look back at the whole thing and my father's ways, he like I said, he was a tough man. He graduated from Dunbar in 1941, right at the start of World War II. His both brothers and his father were in World War II as
Wow.
Black soldiers, and you know what the segregation was like then. But he couldn't go. He was born with his vision was so bad, man. He couldn't see anything without his glasses, and so that precluded him from service. And I always wondered if that bothered him because all of his friends, everybody went to the war, came back on the GI Bill, went to college, but he was putting himself through school while they were at war. And I think that was his way of, you know, getting something positive out of that experience because I know he wanted to go. Father, two brothers are there. So he worked real hard, man. He got a government job at the National Labor Relations Board, 1700 Pennsylvania Avenue, across the street from the White House. And but at night, man, he drove Capital Cab number one.
He is.
Capital Cab number one for years, man. And he was happiest at the baseball games with me and my brother, showing us how to do the scorecard. You know, hey Harold, remember the old guy that was blind that sold peanuts outside the Griffith Stadium?
Yeah, yeah.
All we remember all of that, man.
Wow.
And you know, the smell of the bread from the Wonder Bread bakery right next door. But so he gave me this catcher's mitt because I always remember him saying catchers were a take charge guy. Catchers were had to know the field, had to know everything about the game, and they were the spark plug. They were the energy, and I think he saw that in me, and that's why he gave me the catcher's mitt. It didn't dawn on me at the time, man. I'm 10 years old, man. What I know? I'm glad to be walking again after being in the hospital for so I had to run, man, behind the home plate.
Right.
But he saw something different. So what that did, man, that inspired my independence. My brother and I are twins, and I became kind of independent after that.
And let me jump in here and I'll tell you
Yeah.
how independent he was, Shannon. He decided that he's not gonna go to the high school that he's supposed to go to in his area. He go write a letter to the superintendent of schools saying that he want to go to Calvin Coolidge, never telling his mom or dad that he has written this letter.
I sure didn't, man.
And the letter was so great, Shannon. The superintendent wrote him back and said, "Okay, you are in Coolidge."
Wow.
Okay, pick it up, Donnell.
Yeah, man. And it just snowballed from there. You know, I've been in the army. I mean, I started as a health and physical education teacher, and I got to give a shout out in memoriam to Jim Beanie Howell. I went to Taft, and I came back to Taft as a student teacher in the fall of '70, and Jim Howell was there, of course, and Oscar Mims was my cooperating teacher. So I just got to give a shout out because we just lost Jim Howell, and he was a great guy, great guy. But anyway, so I did the army, man. I've been all over the world. I've had all kind of jobs. As Harold said, I just retired in 2018 as an associate professor at St. Aug. It's going through a lot of issues right now, but when I left, everything was fine. So that's a story for maybe we'll do another show on that one time, Harold, on St. Aug. On HBCUs.
To add on to that story, that Donnell's uncle was like my mentor, Freddie Bethel, known all over the city as a hell of he was a tough guy, man.
He was a tough guy.
He was a tough guy. But for some reason, he loved me because I guess I had that kind of attitude. And Freddie was out of sight. He was, man, everybody, wherever he coached, man, like Donnell said, Donnell was started out with Parkside with my little brother. And Bethel didn't want Donnell at Parkside, so we had Donnell transfer to Deanwood.
Hey, we went in the transfer portal, man.
Yeah, you went through the transfer portal, right?
Yeah,
right.
we did, man. We did.
Went through the transfer portal, but Freddie, hey, Donnell, do you remember Miss Honesty?
Absolutely.
Man.
And look, you had to go. Remember, you had to go pick up that paper check, man.
You're right.
We had to go to the regional office, which was in Banneker.
Right, that's right.
And she was and Walter Brooks was her assistant.
That's right.
And
she was tough as, hey, Donna, she was tough as nails.
Boy, you better not look at her cross-eyed.
I'm tough.
We were like, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. We made sure we didn't have any beer on our breath.
Right. Yeah, she was my mentor, man.
Yeah, man. And you know, she was we knew the Tatum family.
Okay, right, that's right.
We knew Brad Tatum and all the brothers, man, and you know, Rodney and them lived on 22nd Street near us when we moved to Michigan Park. Okay. So we used to hang out, and you know, Kevin was on that championship basketball team
at McKinley.
Yeah, we knew Kevin really well, and then he went on to be a sports writer with the Philadelphia Inquirer.
That's right.
you know.
Yeah,
But Harold, you open up for a lot of people, man. I think about my man Donald Huff that went to the Post.
that's right.
Kevin was in Philly, you know, and of course, wouldn't been no Glenn Harris, any of them other guys, you know.
James Brown, Glenn Harris,
James
Michael
Brown, Glenn
Wilbon,
Harris,
David Aldridge,
Wilbon.
Kathy Hughes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All okay. Hey, have we picked up Brooks, Big D?
Nah, we ain't pick up Brooks. I'm not sure what's going on with his connection.
Okay. Well, let's move on. What else you want to talk about, Big D?
Today we had the DMV Sports. There's a young lady who played for UCLA, and they won the championship. And she is a local DMV athlete. So from your experience with the local sports scene and the people who are here, what are some of the things that you've seen change, or some of the things that you've seen dwindle down when it comes to sports in the capital?
Big D, you know what, man? I sure wish you could play that video that you sent me this morning, man. That brother Lonnie B, he tells it all. Lonnie B tells it all, man. Everything has changed. It's all about a dollar bill. Everybody trying to grab the dollar, and they have forgotten all about the young people, man. That I have always said my whole career, I've always said young people first, man. But today, it's about the dollar bill, man, or the politicians. You don't know who to trust. I don't know of anybody in this city that has had more police community relations forums than Harold Bell. I had them all over the city trying to bring young people to understand what the cops were all about, and for the cops to understand the young people. And that's what we don't have today, man. We don't have people who in leadership who really care. When you stop and think, Big D, now you've been here for a while now. Just think of our mayor. Just count how many police chiefs she's had in her tenure. She done had 5 different police chiefs. How you gonna have 5 different police chiefs and be able to control what goes on in the city? Something is wrong there, man. But we keep putting these people in the office, the same ones in the DMV, PG County. I don't care where you say, they keep putting these crooks in office, man. I mean, that's the real deal. And I like what Lonnie D said. I sent that same text that you sent me. I tried to send it to everybody. I think I even sent it to Donnell. Did you get that?
Yeah, I did. Yes.
Go ahead, Donnell. Pick it up from there, because, man, we have lost our young people because we don't have adult leadership. Pick it up from there.
And let me go one more point before that.
Okay.
On the landscape of sports. I got grandkids now, man, and they're basketball and football. One, and they're playing in these AAU and in these high level competitive leagues, and the pressure on these kids early is tremendous. I mean, they've got to virtually go. These are middle school kids. One's going to. They're both in the 8th. I mean, they've got to have trainers. They've got to go to the elite little camps. I mean, at that age, back in the day, the elite players, they would get to go to 5-star or something like that. They used to go up to the Catskills and this, that, and the other, man. But not like now. I mean, it started so early. That's one thing. They've got watch lists already, starting at middle school all the way through high school, of the next group of top tier elite athletes. And that translates into what's going on now with the transfer portal. My youngest son, Tony, started at Georgetown as a freshman. Man. He was good. 2 years. This was during the Craig Estrick years. And the program took a nosedive because he tried to be Big John. He couldn't be Big John. Anyway, so he transferred to NC State, but he had to sit out a whole year. Now these kids don't have to sit out. and they're going where they can get the money.
Yeah.
Classic example. Dawn Staley is stacking up for next year. She is not going to lose in the championship game again. And it's crazy. But as far as the kids now, I've seen parents fighting at games. I've seen parents yelling at their kids at games,
Yelling at the referees.
yelling at the referees. And this is no offense intended, but what I'm gonna say, I see a lot of single moms, and they're pushing their kid, and it's the environment has changed, because there's so much at stake now,
Yeah.
and I think sports is losing its value. I mean, AAU, they might as well forget AAU. Because you remember Adidas and Nike fights during literally during the early AAU basketball years where money was going under the table and all those kinds of things.
Well, one thing down there, I was the first Nike representative on the East Coast.
Yeah.
When I was hired by Nike, my man Sonny Hill
Yes.
introduced me to the Nike representative in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Back then I was taking my kids to basketball camp, like
Right.
Dave Bing's camp,
Right.
like Sonny Hill's camp, like Big House Gaines camp. Was nobody doing that back in the day.
Right.
So I was establishing myself. So the brother from Portland, who happened to be at the Sonny Hill basketball camp, Sonny introduced me. He said, "You from DC, man?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "How would you like to be the Nike representative in DC?"
Wow.
I said, "Yeah." And look, man, that was a sweet job. My wife said all I had to do was fill my trunk of my car with tennis shoes, outfits, and give them away to the celebrities. That's what I had to do.
There you go.
And man, that was fantastic, man. Now, everything has changed today, man. Everybody taking money under the table, and we've had some of our coaches, college coaches, taking money under the table. David Faulkner was hooked up with one of our big coaches here, and they were taking money on the table early, man. A whole lot has changed, and as we all know, man.
So see, now the money's on top of the table.
Yeah. On top of the table. That's a good thought.
How much do you want? But Harold, I got to mention one thing when you say Sonny Hill, and I didn't mention this earlier. I had the privilege, man, as a young guy to be an assistant professor at Temple University.
Oh, that's right.
In the PE department. I was there from 1976 to 1980. And man, I got to spend time with Herb Adderley because he was one of the assistant football coaches at Temple. And I got to see Sonny Hill all the time. Muhammad Ali came.
John Chaney. I know you had to hook up with John
Chaney. Man, I used to walk from the bus stop down to my office, man, just feeling this Philly vibe, North Philly, man. Walk past Joe Frazier's training gym every day. And so I just had to show those Sonny Hill out there because NBA on CBS, Sonny Hill. He's
the best to ever do it.
Decked out in an all red suit or lime green suit. He was straight Philly, man.
Fresh.
Clean haircut, everything, man.
Nice.
Sharp, man. Sharp.
Yeah. When you look at, the Commanders, the Nationals, the Wizards, the Capitol, and DC United, what does a franchise owe the community beyond the game itself?
Well, who are you asking, Donnell or me? Donnell,
I'm going to just throw out real quick. They owe them a commitment to stay. Man, remember when we were growing up, Harold, I know, man, you knew every player on every team for years, man. I can still tell you the 1957 New York Yankees starting lineup. And I can tell the old Steelers, man, they coming back every year, the same. These players fluctuates. I turn on the NBA and I say, who is that guy? So one thing they owe, I think, is some commitment to where they decide to play and where they're getting all this money from. I understand business is business. The second thing is, man, they got to make tickets and make it accessible to more people. I mean, entertainment it costs a lot of money, and I think
Mhm.
these venues, man. I'm not trying to equate sports to going to Beyonce. You talking about $1,000 for a ticket,
Man, come on.
$700 for a ticket, $400 in standing room nosebleed section. I mean, that's
Mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, man.
Yeah, that's it. You hit it on the head, man. They have outpriced the regular person, that want to
Yeah,
take their kids to the game. We can't
yeah,
we can't even afford to do that now, man. They have outprices. Then they bring in. I want both of you to think now. We think about Major League Baseball, football, basketball. We don't have black ownership in neither one, man. There's
no,
no black
no,
owners,
no,
man.
no, no.
They have locked us out, and it's because of greed. We can't even go. We can't go to Channel 4 or 5, 7, or 9 on the weekends and pick up NBA basketball because they got it on prime time. You
Yeah,
understand? It's greed all the way. And then you see these brothers talking about they are minority owners. They ain't no minority owners. They don't make no decisions about players on the team, how much salary they get. They are just out there as a black face sitting in the stands. See,
right.
we got too many frauds.
and Harold, you know that the elephant in the room is I don't want to get too political here, but the environment has changed where those who want to keep the power, I'm gonna use it like that,
That's what it is.
are encouraged to do that now because of this regime that's in charge,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
and how they've co-opted all of the guardrails.
Mm-hmm.
And so, a owner from a certain team in New England who could get away with a certain thing that happened at I think a massage parlor, get away with all of that.
That's right.
right.
But somebody that's of a different persuasion, we out there front and center, man. I mean,
Right,
like I say, I'm getting a little radical in my old age.
All right.
I don't want to call it out like it is,
Right.
right.
Let
but
me
like
pick it up. Let me pick it up from there. One of the things what folks don't realize that these things that you see the black athlete doing in the communities today, football, basketball, baseball, talk about I care. Didn't any of them care till Harold Bell cared? I was the first one to bring
yeah,
pro
yeah,
athletes to the playgrounds, to Hillcrest Children's Center. The first NFL promo
yeah.
was done at Hillcrest Children's Center with Larry Brown and Harold McClinton teaching water safety to my kids. That was the first NFL promo.
Wow.
I had people like Dr. J. George McGinnis. I had all of them on my show because Fatty Taylor, I was his mentor back in the ABA.
Yeah.
So all this stuff you see now talking about they care, they don't care. They're using the black athlete, man, to fool the community because
Right.
few far in between are really giving back, man. I mean,
Yeah. Bottom line, it's not just about talent. It's about structure, support, and who's really building for the future. Everybody who's watching and listening, if this conversation is landing with you, hit the like button right now, share this live, drop a comment, tell us what sports need most right now: more leadership, more access, more investment, or more truth. This segment was brought to you by one of our partners, Black Zone, and here they are right here.
They want to erase us. If there was ever a time to elevate our voices, share our stories, build our communities, embrace our creativity and ingenuity, as well as create safe spaces controlled and owned by us, it's now. Welcome to the Black Zone. Black Zone Social. Black Zone Television. Black Zone Magazine. For you. For me. For us.
Okay, Shannon, how much time we got left on the clock?
We got about 10 more minutes left on the clock.
Okay. I just want to say, man, is that we got to start controlling. It may be too late for this generation. The narrative. We don't control the narrative because we don't own no media outlets. They control the narrative. Every time we get a foothold in the media, for example, a good example is Jet Magazine, Ebony Magazine, what's the BET? They buy us out because they want to control the narrative. And when we don't control the narrative, they put us in the back of the bus. See, that's one thing about inside sports when I came along, man. I controlled the narrative. I did the commentaries. I brought time from the station. And see, they didn't understand that. Now, you look at every sports talk television show, I don't care where they are, they copied the inside sports format. They copied the format, and it is now a $1 billion industry. Because we don't control our own images, man. You look, here I am, one of the first and the only individual that got a Muhammad Ali interview after he knocked off George Foreman, knocked him out. He came to Harold Bell. Muhammad Ali knew what was going on. He got sportscasters all over the world that he made friends with. But he chose a little black guy in D.C., unknown, to give the only interview to, man. How big is that? And right today, man, these brothers like Michael Wilbon, I'm gonna call names, James Brown, all of them come under me. But they keep it secret that Harold Bell had the only interview with Muhammad Ali. Dave Aldridge was the only one to write it up. So here I am, 52 years later, got one of the greatest interviews ever done with Muhammad Ali, and people not even aware that Harold Bell got that interview. So until we start getting more shows like what Shannon's trying to do and controlling the narrative, man, and people say how dangerous AI is. I thank God for AI because now they can go up and pull my history. They can show you everything that Harold Bell did and why I am the #1 sports talk show host in the country. I'm the pioneer that laid the groundwork in the past for these guys, like you say, Stephen A. Smith, Bill Simmons, I think they had. Hey, they don't even write with Harold Bell. So, man, I am so proud that I'm able to be a part of this show and to bring somebody back like Donnell, who was there, man. And I just want to go out and say, man, I had a little poem I used to do, Donnell. I said it was titled "My Boy."
Yeah.
I said, careful man I wanted to be because there was a little fellow that followed me. I dared not go astray for fear he'd go that self same way. I could not once escape his eyes because whatever he saw me do, he tried. He thinks or thought that I was good and fine and believed in every word of mine. The bad in me he did not see, this little fellow that followed me. I remembered as I go through summer sun and winter snow, I was building for the years to be for that little fellow that followed me. And that was you, Donnell. I didn't know you guys were looking at me, but I was trying to be careful that I wasn't caught on the playground drinking beer, shooting crap, because I know there were some young folks watching me. And that's why today, I don't care, you find out anybody that came through Harold Bell, they said my word was good, man. I never misled them. And I probably lied to him sometimes.
Hey, Harold, I got the game. Yeah, man, I got to put this in the conversation real quick because I want the audience to get the full impact on how blessings flow. So I don't know what I was doing, and my phone rang, and it was a 240 prefix, and I said, a lot of people in DC area, Maryland, have that. This might be somebody I know. I normally would have ignored it, but I clicked it on, and it was Harold Bell. And Harold, like many of us, I've done it a million times myself, man. What we call butt dial somebody. You didn't intend to, man. Sometimes these iPhones and all this stuff got a mind of their own. But on that particular, that was the good Lord, man, because like Harold said, we hadn't talked in a couple of years. Man, we love Harold, man. And the poem is poignant, man. If I wasn't trying to be hard, I might have worked up a tear on that, man. But no, I'm just kidding. But it was so true. It was so true. The young guys of my era, we didn't want to mess up in front of a Harold Bell. We didn't want something getting back to a Harold Bell. Oh, one of the Bethel brothers did X, Y, or Z. We didn't want that. We see my Uncle Freddie. We were scared of him. We respected him.
Yes, indeed.
But if we had done something crazy, he would have. He was, oh yeah, they just been, a little boy, whatever. But disappointing Harold was a whole different ball game. We wanted to elevate ourselves. We wanted to be the kind of athlete Harold was with the Virginia Sailors, man. My high school football coach had a lot of Virginia Sailor guys. Phil Gaines at Coolidge used to bring Virginia Sailor guys to help coach us. And one year, believe it or not, you're talking about Black history, we had a mechanical drawing teacher for 1 year, Darrell Hill.
Oh, yeah.
University of Maryland. Darrell Hill.
I'm so glad you brought that up, man. Hey,
Darrell Hill was an assistant coach.
Hey, Donnell, do you realize?
Donnell,
do you realize that Darrell Hill came out of Mayfair?
Darrell Hill came out of Mayfair. Absolutely, 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 absolutely.
Yeah, I was Darrell's mentor. I used to run him off the field.
Man, he was a tough. I mean, man, we learned a lot from him just on, how to be hard on the field, man. I mean, not nasty, but Darrell was tough, man.
Yeah. Well, he became tough. Let me say this: he became tough because he used to come up there. We used to play out in back of the DGS and stuff right there on that field. But when he first came up there, his mother brought him up there, and I ran him off the field because he was a crybaby. So his mother brought him back the second time. And we ran him off again, Donnell. And you know who he came back with the third time, Donnell?
Who's that?
Veda Stone. Veda Stone was friends with his mother and father.
Veda Stone, man. His wife taught at McKinley Tech. She was a legend, man. She was a legend. Carrie, yes, sir. I didn't go to McKinley, and I knew about her.
Darrell Hill, Shannon, as you might know, went on to become the first Black to play at the Naval Academy, and then he went on to become the first Black to play in the ACC at the University of Maryland. He came out of that Mayfair place where, of course, with Donnell. And you know who else came out of that, Donnell? William Chappelle, the father of Dave Chappelle. Me and William Chappelle were good friends.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, Harold, I knew you knew the Stovall's.
Oh man, come on.
Neil and Mike Stovall. Yeah.
Oh man, come on. His daddy, and you talking about being tough in DC Department of Recreation, their daddy was a great athlete and a tough man. Yeah, we came up under some great people, man.
Great people, man. Great people. Great people.
Thank you.
I mean, the DC legacy is what needs to be transmitted to these youngins, man. They don't know.
They don't know.
And they so caught up in technology and all this other stuff, man. There's craziness in school because they didn't have the Harold Bells. DC Recreation saved a lot of lives. And why it still doesn't have that mission, I don't understand. And I'm going to leave two things on a personal note. Although I don't live in DC, my wife and I are both natives. Our parents were natives. My oldest son, Eric, is an instructional superintendent in DC public schools right now.
Wow.
And our daughter is a ICU cardio catheter nurse at Washington Hospital Center.
Isn't that something?
Wow,
in DC. In DC. So
congratulations, man.
Yeah, man. So we're still giving back,
Well, when we come back next time, Shannon will have your photos and stuff up there. But this was a great interview anyway. This was a great show, man.
I've been fooling with this screen the whole time. I can't get. I don't know.
That's all right. Shannon will have it next time. Yeah.
Okay.
Be able to check it out, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Harold, I'd like to come back. Maybe once a month, every couple months, and maybe discuss a topic. You know,
Oh yeah.
I'm an old researcher, man, college professor and all that. Got all these degrees, and you know, I like to do stuff like that. So,
Right.
and
Absolutely.
actually, I wrote a second book that's called Keep On Moving. And that one picks up from the time I got out of the military in 1991 up until today. And I pay tribute to my wife and kids because every move I made, they had to make too.
Yeah.
And what
Well,
their
you bet one
sacrifice
thing,
was.
Putin is looking down, man, and he's very proud of you, man.
Nice.
Hey,
He's looking down, man.
and I'm looking up.
My little brother was a knucklehead, man, but I love him, man.
Hey, look, and before we go, Earl, I got to shout out one more time to the Parkside people, man. There was no Parkside. You didn't know Parkside unless you knew the Stroy.
That's
family.
right.
Yeah.
Esther Stroy is still around. Esther
Yeah,
Stroy
hey,
Shannon was the
yeah.
youngest Olympic female
That's right.
Olympian in the history of it. And she
15 years old.
Wow.
I grew up with her brothers and sisters. They all went to Neville Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother Dale is in the DMV Athletes in Action. He sees a lot of. He's seen Esther a couple times.
Yeah, I
different
found
events.
that group. Hey, Donnell, I found that group.
Yeah,
I was
okay.
one of the founders of that group.
Okay.
I was the founder of Spin Gun Alumni Association.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I know all that group, man.
Hey, Harold, was Dr. Dr. Hill at Swingon when you were there?
Yeah. I just got an email from his daughter.
Yeah,
Patrice.
Leo Hill.
He
He was one of our professors at DC Teachers.
Yeah, he kicked me off the team.
Did he?
He kicked me off the baseball team. Hey, Donnell, I was out there trying to play Willie Mays, catch basket catches and over my head and running the bases when I wanted to. And we played Fairmont Heights.
Okay.
And the score was tied. No, they were ahead of 5-4 going into the 7th inning.
Okay.
I got on base with 2 outs. I stole second, and he said, time out. He said, now, Harold, Cornbread is up. You know, Malloy is up. So you just hold still for a minute, okay? No sooner he left the field, I stole third base. and now I'm on third base. I'm gonna steal home. I steal home. I'm out by a mile. And then when we got back to Spin Guard, Mr. Hill came in the locker room. He said, Harold Bell, since you want to play with Willie Mays, I'm sending you to New York. Turn your uniform in. And they went on to win the East Division Championship. And we lost to Wilson for the DC Public Championship. And the guy that replaced me made 2 errors in the outfield, and my guys would not let me forget.
Wow. But you know, this is DC legacy. This is DC history. I mean, there's some young fellas out there right now never heard of Elgin Baylor, never heard of Dave Bing. They'll tell you all about LeBron,
right?
But they don't know about us. They don't know about when they don't know about when the University of Notre Dame started. 5 black players, and 3 of them are from DC. Austin Carr, Sid Catlett, and Big Collis Jones.
That's right. Ain't that something?
That's history, man.
Big history. Yeah, big history.
Hey, Harold, one last thing about the book was about my father. Man, he played golf at Langston for 60 years. And that request when he died, his ashes are spread, you know, the big oak tree going into the clubhouse?
Right
around that oak tree, man, when you're coming in from the clubhouse, finishing up the ninth, you know, it's only 9 holes, finishing up the 9th hole. Yeah, man.
Wow. Where can they get your book? How can they, you know, find you? Where can they follow you if they need some inspiration? Like, how do they stay connected with you?
Well, I need to do something with the following, but the book is on Amazon.
Okay.
And I don't have the ISBN number. Actually, I do, but it's a lot of numbers. They can type in when you go to order something, Dr. Darnell Bethel, and the book will pop up.
Pop up.
And
Awesome.
it's only $4. It's not about the money anyway, but
Yeah.
it's a good book for young kids, boys and girls, and it's a connection story. I call it a memoir of a son's relationship with his father, and then I use the Robert Frost quote, "Roads diverging in the wood," and Harold will know this because so many of us could have made a right, could have made a left. One was the right way, one was the wrong way, but I think I took the path that was best for me, and I tried it. That's always been a good point for me. Yeah.
Another thing is also, you say how your wife told you, you need to put this information out because nobody's going to tell your story. How important is it for us to document our own lives and to make sure that we can pass that information on?
That's a great question. And it goes to something fundamental. I'm going to talk about the brothers right now. We've tended historically to keep a lot of stuff in. I'll be honest, I don't have a problem with it. I was in the service. I have PTSD. I go to counseling, which I try to stay away from for so long until the point where my wife said, "You need to go talk to somebody." And then part of that in the writing and telling of your story is we have to appreciate ourselves. A lot of times we're waiting for people to give us accolades. And Harold, this goes to you, man. You have always told your story. You're going to tell it,
That's
whether
right.
y'all want to hear it or not.
That's right.
I'm going to keep telling it till I leave this place.
Oh,
And I began to feel that way, that I needed to express myself. And there's so many venues now, man, can help me and this, that, and the other. And but it's very important to pass on to your children, your grandchildren, who you were, but but you got to have a story to tell.
yes.
That's why I wrote The Catcher's Mitt. And Harold, let me know if you agree. It was a good story. It wasn't just some writing out facts about myself, but I thought it was a good
That was
story.
great, man. That
I
was great.
put a caricature of myself when I was in the hospital. I
Mhm.
put some other pictures in it historically, and talked about the era of DC. DC has changed so much
Oh, man.
that people just don't understand what it was like for Harold and me growing up, man. We didn't need anything else from anybody, man. I was a black Boy Scout. I was a black Cub Scout. Our scout leaders were black. We went to the black church with these dynamic, not for money preachers, and not for money / politician preachers. No mega church. It was the family church your grandmother went to.
Mhm.
And all of that was part of, we had our own schools, man. It was just a different era.
I just want to say too, man, as we go out of here, and that's a good point, man. My coach Red Roundtree, a basketball coach who coached Dave Bing, and my football coach called Coach Eldon Baylor.
My assistant principal at Coolidge.
Coaches. So Roundtree kicked me off the basketball team too. I wanted to shoot the ball, man. He had me playing a boxing one. I would defend the other team's high score. But man, my name wasn't getting in the paper. So that summer I went out and started shooting them jump shots and all everything. And I came back my senior year, man, and took over the scoring. And man, I just hogged the ball. I messed up a good team. Roundtree would say years later, he said Harold Bell was a great all-around athlete. I wasn't a great all-around athlete. You know what happened is that when the game was on the line, I wanted the ball in my hands. I wanted the ball thrown to me.
Right.
I wanted to take the last shot. So even my teammates called me selfish. But I didn't want to lose. So that same characteristic back then, that's how I carried into my work with young people. I wanted them, man, to turn to me when they needed help. And any of those kids would tell you, I never misled them, man. I told them like it was. Sometimes it hurt, but I told it like it was, man.
But
So
Harold, for me and my group, and you were talking about Eric Campbell the other day, just seeing you, man. If I had, I thought about doing something. It just changed, man. You didn't have to say a whole lot, but just seeing you, your presence, how you carried yourself, what you embodied to us, um, was enough to get us through, man. I didn't have to see you all the time, but man, if your name popped up, we talking about somebody. Yeah, I saw Harold Bell, man. It just light bulbs, everything went off, and say, man, that's who I want to be. You talking about be like Mike? We wanted to be like Harold way before there was a Mike.
all right, Big Doc Chaos out of here, man. Before I fall out.
Alrighty.
Thank you so much, Doc. Thank you so much, man. Greatly appreciated. I had no idea how this show was going to turn out. We were expecting another one of my mentees to be on here, Theophilus Brooks. I don't know what happened to him. He probably got scared and ran. Tell him that shit. Okay, Shannon.
Look, hey, Harold, I wanted to get this because man, we got this beautiful back porch here. It's all cleaned up and that's my background, man. My wife came out, took some pictures, but anyway, so we'll get that straight next time.
We'll do it next time, man. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Hey,
Harold,
yeah.
Love you, man.
Love you too, my brother. Love you too.
Yes. In the words of the great Harold Bell, every black brother, finish it up for me, Harold.
Every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy. Until next time, I'm Harold Bell, along with Big Doc. You can call us Scone.
If you like what you saw today, definitely like this video, comment on this video, share this video. You can also support us through our donation link. And also, please go to Amazon, buy the book. Final thank you to our presenting sponsors, Kids in Trouble. Big shout out and thank you to the Inside Sports Legacy Network and Everything DMV Radio for powering the platform, and also our other sponsors, Dream Team Entertainment and Black Zone Magazine, and also our Neo Algo, who all are supporting the movement, the message, and the mission. This has been the second chapter of the original Inside Sports with Harold Bell. I'm Shannon Roundtree. Until next time.